Merry meet! I'm so happy you're with us today. We are working a psalm spell today, and the psalm we're working today is Psalm number 43. And Psalm 43 is traditionally used to overcome an unjust situation. So even if it isn't truly unjust, if you feel as though you've been unjustly treated, this will take care of it for you. And as with any psalm spell, it is a deep conditioning of your inner mind. So the best way to work psalmic magic is to keep repeating the psalm again and again until you see movement in the right direction or until you see the problem resolved, okay? So don't just do a single psalm and think everything is, going to work out okay because you twitched your nose. It's a matter of coming back to the psalm again and again. And we're going to give it a go here. And the way we work these psalms are very, very simple. We read the psalm all the way through out loud once, and that's called an incantation. And then we go back through it and we consider each verse and we search and hunt and dig for inner meanings of those verses. And through that searching and digging and contemplating, we are thusly planting those seeds as those thought seeds deep into the fertile ground of our minds. And they take root and they grow and they bear fruit after their kind. All right, so here we go. Psalm 43. Judge me, O God, and plead my case against an ungodly nation. O deliver me from the deceitful and the unjust man. For thou art the God of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? O send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me unto the holy hill and into the tabernacles. Then will I go unto the altar of God, unto God my exceeding joy. Yea, upon the harp will I praise thee, O God, my God. Why art thou cast down, O my soul, and why art thou disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall yet praise him, who is the health of my countenance and my God. All right, so now we're just going to do the magic. So we're going to go back through this, and we'll find all kinds of magic seeds to plant. So it starts out with, judge me, O God, and plead my case against an ungodly nation. So first of all, we have to remind ourselves who we are addressing. We are not addressing a deity that's separate from us, an anthropomorphized deity. This is not a tribal deity of the ancient Hebrews. This is, if you look at the tree of life of the Kabbalah, this is the top of the tree. This is that sphere that is the Godhead. And it is the principle of life itself. It is infinite love, infinite principle, infinite wisdom, infinite life. And it is that which is beating your heart right now. So it says, judge me, O God. So to judge us is exactly what we want. We want to be judged. We want God's judgment. That's the thing that we want more than anything, because God judges us rightly. And God created us. And since God created us out of himself, herself, itself. And so God created us perfect. And so that perfection is exactly what God sees. And so God's judgment removes everything that is unlike what God created for us. All right? So judge me, O God, and plead my case, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. Well, an ungodly nation could mean things outside of ourselves, right? That's unjust. But ultimately, what we want to address is the thought forms within us that are unjust, that are ungodly, because everything in our life is a reflection of something that started from within. So we want to go and handle the cause first, which is the invisible within us. For thou art the God of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? Why go I a mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? So, for thou art God of my strength. That's an important thing to remind ourselves. God is our strength. God is all strength. So when we are connected to that understanding of this singular force, there's only one force, there's only one source, there's only one substance, and that's what we're calling God. When we recognize that, then we have all strength because there's nothing to oppose it. So why dost thou cast me off? God doesn't cast off anybody. God never casts off anybody. The only time we feel like we're being cast off by God is through a process called projection. That is when we turn our backs on the one source, when we start to create differently than the way God creates, and then we don't like the results, and rather than taking responsibility for what's happening, we blame God. That's what that is. Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? So feeling oppressed by external circumstances, it's important that we understand that we have started that oppression within us, and we want those thought forms to be removed for us on our behalf. Oh, send out the light, oh, send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me. So the light and the truth of God we're being asked that they be sent to us so that they lead us and guide us. And we always have that guidance available to us at all moments of time and points of space. It's not that God needs to send those things out to us. God already gave those things to us. This is just a poetic way of us reminding ourselves to turn and receive the guidance that is already our birthright. Let them bring me unto the holy hill and to thy tabernacles. And so the guidance that we are asking for will lead us back to the holy hill, which is the most exalted part of our mind, and the tabernacle on the top of that hill is the place in which we have our connection to our oneness with God, our connection to our Creator, and that is the pinnacle of our soul. Then will I go unto the altar of God, unto my exceeding joy. So the altar of God is that place within us where we have that connection, that one connection that cannot be severed. My exceeding joy. So that's where we get our joy. The only place that joy exists is on that altar, and that altar exists within us. Yea, upon the harp will I praise thee, O God, my God. Now, praising God upon the harp, we're saying that we are using implements of praise of song. So a harp makes a disturbance in the air, which can make beautiful music. And so anything in our lives that we can do to disrupt and disturb the problems in our lives through and replacing those with praise. So anytime that we are looking at something that feels unjust or seems to be attacking us in any way, what we can do is turn and praise. When we start to praise and start to remember the qualities of God, that thing dissolves before our very eyes. Why art thou cast down, O my soul? So when your soul is cast down, that's when you have imprisoned it within this ego of yourself, this idea of separation that's being cast down. And why art thou disquieted within me? So the only reason why you're disquieted within yourself is because you believe that you could be unjustly treated, that there is lack of justice available to you. And so that occurs when we lose our center, our connection with our oneness with God. Okay. For I shall yet praise him who is the health of my countenance. So your countenance is how other people recognize you. It is that which is recognizable about you. And so you're not just an automaton. You're not just when we say that you're one with God and there's no separation, that doesn't mean that there's no individuality in God. You are a sunbeam to the sun, and just like there are no two snowflakes alike, there are no two souls alike. So you are unique. You are very unique. So the health of your countenance is the uniqueness that God created, not the separateness and specialness that you're trying to create. There's a difference between God making you essential and only you can fulfill your function. And so you're unique and an individual the way you were created. That's very different from you trying to make yourself special from everybody else. Okay, so it ends with who is the health of my countenance and my God. So God is the health of your countenance. God gave you your individuality. It should be celebrated and praised. And coming into this realization that the praising of that power within you is the means by which you can overcome all feelings of unjust treatment in your life. All right, well, this has been amazing. I love working with you, and I cannot wait to work with you again. And until that time, blessed be.